Okay, Neil, we can see you coming down the ladder now. Neil, we can see you coming. Okay, I just checked, getting back up to that first step. That isn't collapsed too far, but there's two hemispheres, one showing each of the two hemispheres of Earth. Underneath it says, "Here men from the planet Earth."
For 48 minutes, one man was the most isolated human in history. While the world watched two men walk on the moon, one man disappeared. No signal, no contact, no confirmation he was even alive. His name was Michael Collins, and this is the part of Apollo 11 nobody talks about. The 20th of July, 1969. 500 million people are watching history unfold. Neil Armstrong steps onto the moon. Buzz Aldrin follows. A moment so powerful, it would define an entire century. But to make that moment possible, something had to be sacrificed. They had to separate. Two men descended toward the surface. One man stayed behind. Michael Collins, floating alone inside a command module, barely 3 meters wide. No crowds, no applause, no history waiting for him on the surface. Just orbit, endless, silent orbit around a world that did not care he existed. From Collins' perspective, everything was out of his control. He watched as two human beings dropped toward a dead, lifeless world, and if anything went wrong, he could do nothing. No rescue mission, no intervention, no second attempt. The spacecraft itself was never meant to stay whole. It had to break apart in the vacuum of space, a fragile lunar module descending to the surface, a command module circling endlessly above, each part depending completely on the other, every step precise, every failure permanent. And then the orbit carried him away. The light began to fade. The moon swallowed the sun. The horizon vanished. Color drained from everything he could see. And slowly Collins drifted into the far side of the moon. This was the point of no return. No signal could reach him there. No voice from Earth. No connection to humanity. For 48 minutes, Michael Collins vanished, not metaphorically, literally cut off from every human being alive, as if he no longer existed. Inside the capsule, there was nothing familiar. No wind, no movement, no life, only machines. The soft hum of oxygen system, the steady spin of gyroscopes, and the sound of his own breathing, a reminder that a thin metal shell was the only thing separating him from the vacuum outside. Outside, nothing, no Earth in the sky. No comforting blue glow, just blackness, endless, silent, absolute. Below him, an invisible landscape of craters buried in darkness, a world he could not see. A world that could not see him. In that moment, billions of people were alive on Earth. Two men stood on the moon, and one man was completely alone. And yet, he didn't panic. He didn't break. Instead, he found something unexpected. Peace. A silence so complete. It almost felt unreal, as if he had stepped outside of time itself. For a brief moment, he wasn't part of the world anymore. He was separate from it, watching it from a distance no human had ever experienced before. But that peace was fragile, because beneath it, one truth remained. Collins wasn't just waiting. He was the only way home. Down on the moon, Armstrong and Aldrin had one final task. They had to leave. To do that, a single engine had to ignite. One engine, one chance, no margin for error. If it failed, they would be stranded forever. The United States government knew this. Even before the mission began, a speech had already been written, a message for the world, a farewell to two men who would never come home. And Collins carried that knowledge, because if that engine didn't fire, he would have to leave them behind alone, turn the spacecraft, fire the thrusters, and begin the journey back to Earth. 200,000 miles through space, with two empty seats beside him, no voices, no answers, only silence and the weight of what he had left behind. As the orbit continued, the darkness began to lift. A thin line of light appeared on the horizon, the edge of shadow approaching the moment of truth. Signals would return, or they wouldn't. Then a sound, a signal, a human voice. Eagle is flying. They made it. The engine ignited. They were alive. Relief, quiet but overwhelming. The orbit carried Collins back into the light. Communications returned, and soon after reunion, docking in orbit, hatches opening, voices filling the silence again. Three men together, alive, finally, on their way home. Apollo 11 became a symbol of human achievement, proof that we are not forever bound to the world that created us. History remembers the footprints, the first step, the moment humanity touched another world. But behind that moment, in the silence, in the darkness, there was one man who made sure they could come back. Neil Armstrong represented ambition, the step forward into the unknown. But Michael Collins represented something else, endurance, the strength to remain steady, even in complete isolation. Two men made history on the moon, but one man made sure history didn't end there.